Rawr.
I'm angry about that.
When did we all get this dumb? Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. I don't see any bodies, so it doesn't count.
I'm angry about that.
I'm the chef. I want to hear one thing. Yes, chef. Come on, man. Use your brain. The Why I'm Angry podcast starts now. Boo, boo. All right, this is Why I'm Angry podcast. This is the chef in the Freestyle Man Cave studio. Lady D.
Hey, listeners.
All right. So we've got a podcast, and we got to say some things. So that's what we're going to do. Going through the quick run of the headlines. This is going to be Mailbag Wednesday. Submersible Mailbag podcast. Remember, we got a new website, whyimangry.com. Check out the merch. Check out all of the fun new podcasts on there. We had a Juneteenth podcast. If you missed it, go back and check it out. It's pretty good, if I don't say so myself. We've got last week's podcast also. So on top of that, we're doing specials. We've got a new 4th of July special coming out here the 4th of July weekend. So that'll be awesome. And on top of all of that, we're just going to podcast along here.
Period. Go get that merch, y'all.
Go get that
Support
merch.
a small business.
That's right. All right, so in the headlines, Hunter Biden got a sweet plea deal. Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, if you have been living under a rock or been smacking yourself in the face for the last 4 years relentlessly and you just don't know what's going on, he's agreed to a plea deal in a federal case related to his taxes, according to court documents yesterday. The plea deal also includes 2 misdemeanor counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax and pretrial diversion agreement that will include his lack of gun, nonviolent offenders, substance abuse problems, and owning felony gun charges.
Oh, so he was a felon before this.
No, it's a felony offense to lie on a federal piece of paperwork saying that you're not, when you fill out the gun paperwork,
right,
you say that you're not on drugs.
Yeah.
He was on drugs.
Oh.
So he was lying. He was, substance abuse problems while having guns. And so that is a federal firearms charge. But because it's a pretrial agreement, he will not get a felony on his record. And so he'll still be able to own his guns.
That's an interesting deal.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. Paris Olympics probe. French financial investors search the headquarters of the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics yesterday, reportedly seeking documents in 2 separate preliminary investigations involving corruption allegations. No charges have been brought in either probe so far. Dun dun dun. Gannett sues Google. Gannett is the largest newspaper publisher in the U.S., filed a federal lawsuit against Google and its parent company Alphabet yesterday. Gannett claims the tech giant is violating antitrust by holding a monopoly over the digital advertising business and controlling how publishers buy and sell ads online, leading to less revenue for publishers and Google's ads rivals. Woo! I'll talk about that too, maybe. Sports and entertainment and culture. Taylor Swift announces new era's tour dates. Woo! Yay! I don't care. Lionel Messi, MLS is going to be in his MLS debut in Inter Miami. Set for July 21st against Mexican club Cruz Azul. Wow, they just actually have a chance to win now. After he announced his departure from Paris Saint-Germain 2 weeks ago, He is now going to be in Miami, which, if you've seen anything, yeah, let's just talk about it for half a second.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at all of the MLS tickets now, any team that plays Miami, they're sold out.
Miami is just that good?
No, Miami has Messi.
Oh, so they're coming to see him?
Yes.
Okay.
He is by far one of the greatest players to ever play.
Mm-hmm.
So he's one of those that if you're in soccer, they equate him to a Maradona or a Pele style player. He's won as a ton of Ballon d'Ors, which is the goal scoring championships for the world. And him and Cristiano Ronaldo are kind of the two big soccer names for our generation. And so he's entering retirement basically, and he's going to come to Miami and find out that the MLS is a little tougher than he thinks, but I think he's going to do great because he's a great player still.
Did the ticket prices go up?
Yes. Yes, they have tripled. And people are selling their tickets for like money, lots of money. Like a $60 ticket is now selling for $180 or $240.
Interesting.
A lot of that's like, I'm in a lot of the like supporters section groups for the Columbus Crew, and they're like, I can't believe all these people would sell. Dude, if you can quadruple your ticket, that's like 3 months of paying for your season tickets for the next year.
I didn't realize soccer tickets were like that inexpensive.
Yeah,
or does it depend?
For the most part, they've stayed pretty inexpensive. Like when I had season tickets, it was only like $18 a game.
Oh.
Now it's like $30 a game. And then with Ticketmaster, they've made like even a $30 game like $60.
Yeah, the fees and stuff.
So
yeah.
But it's a little way cheaper than going to like an NFL game or an NBA game.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I didn't know it was that inexpensive.
So yeah. All right, back to social influencers going to jail. Science and technology. NASA's Parker Solar Probe arrives at roughly 5 million miles from the sun's surface, reveals data of solar winds. Bursts of charged particles are expected to pick up the sun's magnetic fields, and prepares to flip. Science, genetically engineered transparent squid, allowing the first ever visual study of the nervous system of a living cephalopod. Cephalopod. Researchers confirm the existence of molten rock underneath the Cocos Plate off the coast of Central America. Discovery reveals volcanic activity far away from the tectonic plate boundaries, where it is normally found. All right. Like, we couldn't just look at that before? I mean, that wasn't something
we always got to go digging.
I mean, like $17. I mean, I'm sure they spent like millions and billions of dollars, and we could have spent like $17 in a Toyota, Tacoma, and done just fine.
We like to waste money in this country.
Stocks are down after yesterday.
No.
Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba is replacing their CEO and chairman. Pharma giant Eli Lilly is acquiring autoimmune disease drug maker Dice Therapeutics for $2.4 billion. In politics, special counsel John Durham to testify before Congress today on report assessing FBI's 2016 investigation into Russian election interference. Whereas I was actually listening to part of the interview, and the guy was like, did you blah 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 4 years of investigations and blah blah blah? And he goes, nope. And the guy's like, no. And he's like, yeah, you asked me like 400 things. Like, some of them are no. And so, in that whole statement, it's no.
The prosecutor was asking him.
Yeah, the prosecutor was asking him.
Wow, it's like first week of law school. That's not how you question nobody.
Like, not a, make sure it's a pointed question.
Yeah.
So that you get a pointed answer.
Right.
And yeah, it was, yeah.
Was this what they call it, mock trial or whatever?
This is not a well thought out question. There is trial for former President Donald Trump on mishandling classified documents could start as early as August 14th.
Free Donnie.
Which would be surprising, since I figured they would kind of start pushing things back to like October of next year.
That's actually pretty quick. The courts must be ready. They pushed all them rest of the cases to the side. Said, let's go.
I'm thinking they're going to be like, all right, all the, August 14th, start hitting him, and then they're going to be like, well, we need a stay until we can get some more information or something like that. And then it's going to be like February of next year during the big time, primary season.
Yeah, it sounds definitely like a media stunt waiting to happen.
Yeah. So those are kind of the main headlines. There is also a submersible.
Yeah, this is not funny because it's
that
people's lives
has
at
been
risk.
Lost.
But it's kind of
over the Titanic.
Yeah.
The shoes from Michael Jordan's flu game sold for $1.3 million.
Was he selling the shoes?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say that's just being greedy.
I mean, $1.3 million is nothing for Michael Jordan.
That's what I'm saying. He's just being greedy. That's like $10 into us.
That's a bet at the casino.
Yeah.
I
know he didn't really need that little million.
Yeah. So that's kind of all the major article headlines for the day. Anything you want to go back to? I mean, obviously we need to talk about the submersible, the Hunter Biden plea deal.
Yeah, let's get into this plea deal because JoJo's son, that don't even sound right to me.
I mean, it sounds right that it's his son and that's what he's getting.
I mean, but so you said that he does not. Tell me again what it is that something about that what you said. I didn't sit right with me. Just the whole thing, the plea deal,
federal gun charges that he's getting expunged.
Exactly. And he's supposed to be like, am I tripping, or was he supposed to be given probation time too, right?
Well, yeah, that basically he's going to get extended probation.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of the things that he's done. So he's pretty much on the federal charges from the federal prosecutor. He's basically they've spent 5 years investigating him with his laptop and the pictures of hookers and cocaine.
Oh, he was out there like that.
Oh yeah, they have photos of him snorting cocaine off of hookers' rears, off of their bottoms, since this is a kids show or something. But they have that. They have videos of him at strip clubs and all. I mean, which being at a strip club and that is not illegal.
Yeah.
Snorting cocaine is a federal
How
violation.
old is Hunter?
He's got to be in his 40s or.
He got kids?
Not that we know. I mean, he could have kids all over Asia and Russia. He's been with
so
quite
was
a
this
few
the
hookers.
son that they was talking about? I remember like during the time when they were doing like election, Donnie kept bringing up.
Yeah, this
JoJo's
is
son.
that's why it's been 5 years. Like, this was from the first election. They've had his laptop
Since then
that he left at a pawn shop or something, or at a repair shop.
What?
Yeah, with federal like secrets and things on it.
Who was stupid enough to? Who did he piss off for that to happen? I'm just curious. He had to make somebody mad to just be out here putting his business out here like that.
Well, yeah, that was the thing is that they found his laptop at this repair shop, and so that was pre-President Trump. So that was during the election that President Trump won. And they basically they did an investigation, or started an investigation. Well, once he won, President Trump wasn't like that big into it. It's a vice president's son. We kind of play ball. We've never indicted a sitting president, or we've never indicted a not sitting a former president. So we don't start those precedences. Somebody didn't read Biden in. Sure. So I'm sure he just kind of makes sure that this isn't an issue, or maybe he said let's go full bore, and by the time he got done, they were still unraveling the mysteries, and so finally they said, so that it looks like equal playing time, we're going to indict him, and we didn't find all that much. I mean, other than the fact that he's gotten jobs overseas with no credentials. He's never had a job that he's actually earned himself. He has very little, if any, degrees in college. And so he's been the vice president of a major energy company. He's been the CEO of, it's so crazy, all of the figurehead jobs that they've given him, so that those companies have access to the president.
Is this a Ponzi scheme?
This is worse than a Ponzi scheme. It is literally a bribery scheme.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, I feel like Lil Hun Hun. Everybody nickname. Lil Hun Hun. I don't know who he paid allegedly, or who his daddy paid allegedly, but that deal don't sound.
That's what's
correct.
Sad about it is they didn't pay anybody. He got paid.
It's the fact that they're literally giving him a slap on the wrist, and there's people right now in the penitentiary, as we speak, somewhere and across America, that is doing way more time for the crime.
Speaking of which, did you see the rapper Kodak Black?
No, what's his problem?
His
now?
liar comes. His lawyer.
His liar. Yeah, it's a liar.
His liar. That was Freudian slip. Sorry. His lawyer came out and decried two-tier justice system because he's actually in jail right now.
Oh, is he?
46 months, or he went to jail for 46 months for the same exact charge as Hunter Biden. Is just getting a pre-trial agreement.
Same state?
Yeah, same everything.
It's
literally the same deal.
Hun paid somebody. I'm sorry, but he did.
And I don't even think because he's the president's son, I don't think he had to pay anybody. That's what's sad about it.
The craziest thing is, it's like, what type of backhanded deal is his people up here doing, though? Because it's like, at the end of the day, treat him the same way as you would treat, for example, Kodak Black. Like, treat him the same way.
Exactly.
Like, let the time fit the crime that he's committed.
The problem is that as they continue to go into it, so this ends the criminal prosecution of him for the federal state space, the federal prosecution of him.
Right.
But there are still 2 investigations through Congress that they're investigating him and top secret documents and things like that were on his laptop and things of that nature. So the gun charges and this laptop being somewhere out of his hands is kind of taken care of. But now they're looking at his access to the CEO jobs and things of that nature. And because his bank account is the same bank account that Joe Biden uses, President Biden uses, so they have a joint family bank account that kind of everybody. Yeah, there's a pool. Everybody gets some of the pool.
You got a joint bank account with your people, your parents.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
No,
they don't even sound right. So JoJo in on it too.
Never have had one.
Yeah, they don't even sound right. Yeah.
I mean, my mom maybe was on mine during college so she could put a few bucks in.
Yeah.
But that was like...
But you went up there with your mama's MasterCard swiping it.
No.
Going to Best Buy and wherever else.
My MasterCard didn't say Mama Hanover on it. And just like...
So now we over here mixing funds. We're mixing daddy's money with
Biden,
with
it's the Biden fund. Which, in all honesty, could hurt President Biden.
It will.
It could hurt him in the fact that, you know, it's now hard to prove that he didn't take funds from other countries.
Yeah.
Because it all went into one account, even though it was the check said Hunter Biden. What did Hunter Biden do to make $500,000?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did Hunt do? That's what I want to know. And you give me this recipe, honey, because I'm trying to get what you got, minus the jail time. Our pockets are
empty. We hungry?
Right? Okay. Go get that merch.
To quote Fast and Furious 2.
Yeah, we need
Too Fast, Too Furious.
We need that merch. Go get that merch, y'all.
Our pockets are empty. We hungry. So yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's going to be hard to decry like if they go in and they crush President Trump, going to be pretty hard to say like this isn't a tier system, especially when they found all of these documents in Biden's house. And I had a buddy the other day who was kind of talking to me, and he says that it's because Biden was receptive to it. He's allowing it and everything. And I was like when did Trump say you can't have the documents, or when did Trump say, over my dead body, or armed guards be,
Yeah.
I mean, they literally they busted his door in and took pictures of everything, and including his bathroom, and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like the same thing we were just talking off air about is they came out with a big thing saying that the people from January 6th were armed. Mm-hmm. And we were like, here, think about this. Close your eyes and think about this. I'm radical enough that I'm going to the Capitol to walk around in LARPing gear. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've got my crown on and my fur stole and a pair of raggedy sweatpants because that's all I wear. And I'm going to walk around and sit in the Capitol building.
Willingly. And they just going to let me do this.
Willingly. I brought my guns and knives. And somehow, peacefully, I got through the first bit of security through the metal detectors or the fence or whatever. I mean, how you do that, for one? How do you get through that? Because, I mean, I've been to the Capitol. Mm-hmm. I wasn't just walking up to the White House. I wasn't walking into the Capitol building without
tight-lipped that they are down
going
there,
through the BP thing and getting wanded, and especially after 2 weeks before that, they had some kind of heads up, and they brought in the National Guard. So where was the National Guard guarding the Capitol? And then, so I get through all that. Coincidence, luck, call it what you will. And we get to the door, and the first woman through the door gets blasted. I mean, I'm either, one, I'm going to run away because this crap got real. Got real. Mm-hmm. And so it's time to go. Or, two, I'm pulling out my gun, and I'm blasting a fool.
Right.
I'm shooting back in the direction that they're,
that
they're shooting from. So, seeing the fact that neither of those happened, I'm going to say, nay. No gun. There was no guns. Maybe there were guns on the Antifa side of the invasion. And maybe they knew what was going on, and so they didn't just go blasting fools. Mm-hmm. But Somebody's lying to us. I feel like the dopes have been duped.
Well, I mean, it's on video.
Yeah, well, and that's it. Is like
all that security.
Did
they
you
had?
see anybody out there just like brandishing weapons and running around? Woo! You know, no.
Mm. What did they ever say? Like, what was the main purpose of them going to the Capitol? Like, why did they?
I mean,
do
I'm
it?
sure it was. So, people get misled. So there's this whole QAnon thing. True, not true. Run by the Democratic Party, not run by the Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who am I to say? And they say that somehow President Trump triggered with his word with QAnon and said, you know, that they should go to the Capitol and uprise.
Gotcha.
And so they went to the Capitol and uprose.
Got you. Okay.
So that's what they're you know, that obviously the rhetoric is that this was not a peaceful protest. It was not a peaceful taking over of the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
This was a violent, dangerous insurrection,
mm-hmm.
and this was meant to be a coup.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, this was meant to be a demonstration at most. A coup, I mean, I would have thought you would have brought more guns,
mm-hmm.
Or there would be more violence. They would have actually gotten a senator, something.
Right.
Unless we're just not watching the right movies to know what we're supposed to do in a coup. Because, I mean, I've seen those movies.
Mm-hmm.
You got to blast somebody. Definitely. Or you become like, you know, like Hitler and you get somebody else to blast a guy. And then you take over. But I don't think either of those happened. So
I was just curious if they had ever said. So they're trying to basically say Trump was the person.
So
they're
basically saying that Trump cued it and that he wanted them to, you know, have an uprising so that he could declare himself the emperor and take over the republic.
Now, where was Donnie at when all this was going on?
He was at his home in the White House, or he was in Mar-a-Lago. I don't remember which one. He was in one of those, but he
never left the.
He was not in the Capitol, and he was not dancing at the front of the line,
right?
You know, rocking it.
If I could have a camera or be a fly on the wall when that was going down, and just hear his reactions, I can only imagine.
I mean, if he's any bit like a responsible human being, he just rolled his eyes and made and sighed like those idiots.
Right. We hope
that
was his reaction.
That's like yeah. I mean, you hope that's the reaction.
Yeah.
Like, you just, you know, never met the guy.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the M&Ms. He does exist,
mm-hmm.
but I've never met the guy. But you know, whatever. Is that enough? We did enough on this?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. So I do want to talk about this Gannett suing Google over the fact that they're holding a monopoly over digital advertising business.
So I kind of saw something to kind of related to the monopoly topic of with American Airlines and JetBlue.
Mm-hmm.
I think
one also was confusing to me. Go on.
With the government, yeah, I guess they're trying to. I ain't gonna say capitalize. Not the word that I really want to use, but basically stop the companies from, I guess, capitalizing together on the American people. And I just kind of feel like, to me, if it's a business transaction, like if y'all can come together and win more people over, then why not just allow it?
So with the JetBlue deal and American, they are saying that it would become too big of a monopoly, and they could raise prices to the point that people couldn't fly, or they would have so many airplanes and so many routes that they would basically be able to control prices and, you know, who could fly and where they could fly. And it was too much of a, which is weird to me because isn't there still Delta and Southwest and
Frontier
Allegiant and Frontier and all of these different brands that fly to all of those different airports.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like it's Delta and American trying to sign up.
Right. If it were Delta and American or Delta and Southwest or
JetBlue does not even fly everywhere that American flies.
Right.
That's the part I just don't understand. If I see the business aspect behind it.
And that's kind of the point, is that it would extend their reach to, you know, this many more places without any kind of overwatch or any kind of, you know, it's stupid.
I think it is.
Here's the deal. I'm going to say this from the beginning. Monopolies back in the day were not what monopolies are today. Mm-hmm. So monopolies back in the day, if you look at Standard Oil monopoly, that was the first one to come about and be broken. Rockefeller was literally running other oil companies out of business because he could, for 3 weeks or a month, lower the gas prices so low that they couldn't make any money. He wasn't making any money either, but he could afford to go that low because he was going to pick up that business that they were going to lose when they went out of business. Mm-hmm. And then he could acquire them at pennies to the dollar, equipment, contracts, pipelines, all of that. And that's what it was for, is that he was aggressively taking out the competition so that then he could aggressively run the prices.
Right.
You know, you've got the best product, you've got the best services, you should be able to name your price.
Yeah. Now,
because he had the best products and the best service and he owned it all, in that kind of industry, it's hard for someone to claw back a little bit and make another option. Google, literally, I could create a website today that creates a search engine that allows you to search and advertise on it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so I would then be a competitor of Google. Google is the biggest, most big, giant advertising conglomerate website thing. But why? Because they're better than the rest of them.
They just find ways to make it be user-friendly, first and foremost.
Exactly.
And then secondly, it's just they were pretty much the first to evolve and do it. And they've withstand time.
But they weren't the first.
Who was the first?
AOL, Yahoo, any of those guys. They were better.
Yeah.
They were better. They put out a better product. They have continued to innovate the products. And unless they're going around buying up a bunch of the small ones and taking them out, I don't see where, like, I see they have picked up a couple other companies in other, like, in other platforms that they don't own, or they don't extend out into, like phones and stuff like that. They they picked up a couple of phone makers and stuff. But that's honestly decent business. If you can't diversify your business, I was watching Shark Tank last night, and these two guys came on. They were like, had this giant button thing, and I'm not going to say the name of the company because we don't get any cash back, or I don't want to
sponsor us.
Don't want to be part of their, I don't want to mess up anything for them if they don't like our podcast or whatever. But it's like this remote, and basically one of the sharks was like, I don't see it because of this or that, and then the one shark says, okay, I can see it. You make a good product, blah blah blah. They were paying like $40 for acquisitions. So each button that they sold it costs them $26 to make it, basically, roughly, to get it into the warehouse. To put it in your hands, it would cost them another $40. They were spending like $15,000 a month. And the guy's like, you're gonna give me blah 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 amount of the company, and you're gonna give me a $10 royalty for every one we sold up to $1 million. And they're like, we can't afford that because we only make $12 off of this item. Off an item that they charge $80 for, they only make $12 off of.
It's crazy.
Because half of it goes to
the production of
finding the customer. And so Google has made a living off of finding the customer for you. This, I mean,
they sound like they're just hating whoever this company
is. And it's not like Gannett is not. They're a newspaper publisher.
Who still buys the newspaper?
That's it, and that's the problem. Is that they're going to have problems saying
like,
that this is not a attack piece on Google, because Google has made basically newspapers obsolete.
I mean, newspapers are, from my understanding, obsolete. Although there are some that you still can purchase, some of the names. However, 9 times out of 10, if you want to know the news, you're looking down at your smartphone or you're looking on your tablet or whatever the case may be.
I mean, newspaper makes really good packing for sending out collectibles and things.
I mean, they very good with using to clean windows with.
Right, cleaning windows.
Yeah. I think that they're reaching here. I think they need to just stop. Find somebody else to sue.
The problem is it's going to be like JetBlue and American. They're going to say, oh, yeah, they still make up nearly 80% of all revenue. Digital advertising business. The Google earned $224 billion in its digital advertising business. And that's just so much more than, well, that's what it says. Gannett complained allegedly Google earned more than $30 billion in revenue from selling ads to publishers. Okay.
So it sounds
like you had to you spent the money, you paid the money to do it.
You're mad because somebody beat you at your own game.
Right.
And they found a way to keep doing it, and they profit off of it every day. They're profiting off of it right now. I don't know whoever the CEO and all them people is of Google, but they're making money as they sleep. So just find another revenue.
Just pick someone else. Try to find someone else to scam some money off of.
Stop.
Maybe make newspapers something again.
Find a way to make newspapers. I don't know, paper mache. I don't know, but
deliver them with drones or something. That'd be fun.
Well, hook up with Amazon.
That's right, Jeff Bezos.
There you go.
So
there's your free idea.
That's right, just free.
Instead of paying the paper boy or paper girl to go deliver them every morning, get them drones up.
Right. All right. So this submersible. Since we want to call it that instead of a submarine.
Well.
All 5 passengers missing because I found out today that you can't get out from the inside. Which makes sense.
What you mean? How they get in?
Because they're like 6,000 feet underwater. So at that point, your pressure is pretty strong.
Okay, so hold on. I'm curious. To back up. So how they get in?
So they bolt the door on. The door is bolted on, and then they open the door, and then they seal it from the outside.
So they in a basically a canned good.
Yeah, they've
somewhere in the water
sealed, because you have to do it that way because the pressure would be pushing in on the door. Like if it were sealed from the outside, you could pull it in. You can't push against the ocean. That's millions of gallons. Probably billions of gallons of water.
I didn't realize they was bolted in. That's crazy. Why would you do something like this?
There are real submarines.
Right, that's what I'm saying. How come that this wasn't enough?
And you paid $250,000 to go down in a in a submarine that hasn't been tested, like in a prototype submarine that hasn't been tested, that hasn't like
You paid $250,000 to end your life.
to like almost die if you didn't, and now like
I just want to know: is it a restroom on this thing?
I don't know.
Because are they just?
I think there's some sort of like depository. I'm not gonna say it's like a restroom, but
okay.
I'm sure there's like.
So how long were they originally supposed to be down there for?
I think like a day.
And they've been down there for, I guess, what, 2.5 days now? 3 days?
Yeah, it's been since Monday.
So
almost 3 days. Like, they're only supposed to have like 48 hours of like.
None of these people, and all these people that's on this thing has college degrees, but they lack common sense.
Yeah, like one of the guys is a billionaire, entrepreneur, he and his son. And then there's Ginger, Marianne, and the skipper, all on Gilligan's Island. It's supposed to be a 3-hour tour.
I'm just saying, like,
3-hour tour.
Why could you just not get in the same type of, like, what if you have all that money? Why can't you just get in the same type of submarine that they be using up there in the Navy and all of that? Like, why you had to go do something extra?
Or at least one of the ones that they've been using to like explore the something like that. I mean, just like let's go on this experimental submarine and pretty much. I mean, so it's sad because they've been like either we've heard of tapping. The U.S. government won't say that it's tapping a SOS because they don't want to confirm and give hope or whatever, probably. But the Canadian government,
them Black Seals can't go in there and get them.
The Black Seals,
yeah.
I don't know.
Or they call the Navy Seals.
Navy Seals.
Not the Black Seals.
Not
the animal.
I was like, I didn't know if you were going animal or there was like the Black Panther Party has a set of seals that can
the
go
Navy
in.
Seals. My bad.
Hey, if they got stuff, let's do this. Let's
Black
get them
Seals.
going.
The Navy Seals. My bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like we just, I think I joked on to my uncle. When we were, or Moggs, when we were talking about 4th of July stuff, and I was talking to him, and I said, did we win World War II? Like, with all our sonar capabilities, with all our, like, advanced graphings of the bottom of the ocean, and we can't find a little submarine that's...
These people ain't too bright, though, whoever
it
decided to
is,
put their life.
The one thing is it is a private company that has gone, that has decided to go down and, take a submarine down and charge tickets. It's kind of like the whole, the billionaire guy is actually the same guy that went to space with Jeff Bezos. So
he done been to space.
Or Elon Musk.
He done been to space and he done been in the bottom of the ocean and it still wasn't enough, huh?
He's not coming. He probably not coming.
Because space just wasn't enough.
Space was not enough. It was because he found out that the Earth is flat and.
We're not starting that debate.
I'm just joking. Oh yes. So yeah, a billionaire Hamish Harding.
What's his company?
Yeah, I don't know what his company is.
Oh. Well, I'm just gonna say, God bless the people that's down there on that boat.
I mean, it's terrible that they're down there. Because at this point,
we just need to act to God for them to come up.
Yeah, that's it. Is that they've heard the.
What's the saying? Old folks used to say, God protects fools, idiots, babies, and drunks.
Probably. That sounds like a good saying. Maybe I'm protected.
Yeah.
So. But. Yeah, they're hoping that they can make it a little longer. It's not too much hope that they'll make it till morning, but there is some outside chance that they make it to morning, and maybe they can find them first thing in the morning. They said they've honed it down. They've been hearing the sonar. They've been hearing the SOS taps on Canadian and Air Force ships. or Air Force planes, and so they've sent boats into that area. That's what I'm saying. Like, we can't I don't know.
These people that got on this thing is not too bright. Okay, you don't play with your life like that. To me, this whole thing just sounds stupid.
Oh, the Ocean Gate, because it's Ocean Gate, is the submersible. The CEO is on there, Stockton Rush. Yeah.
Well, may the Lord be with them.
Yeah, hopefully this all comes out and they, end up singing the song "We All Live on a Yellow Submarine." And
I just want to know when they come up, how many paramedics and all that gonna have to be there? Because your ears and your breathing and all that.
They're gonna decompress fast, and that's not gonna be good for them. But they need to get up off of the bottom
Help
of
them,
the
Lord.
ocean. Yeah, quick. So, everybody's got live updates on it. So we'll see. So this is where we get into. We've got about 10, 15 minutes. We're going to fast action fly through about 7 or 8 articles where this is the rest of my mailbag. So if you ever come across an article, you want to hit us up. The Why I'm Angry podcast at gmail.com is where you do it. Send us an article. Send us a thought or an idea. If it's good enough, even if it's terrible, we're going to throw it on the podcast and we're going to talk about it. These are articles that I've pretty much sent to myself here and there. And then I've either forgotten about them or I've missed them, or we just, over the last month and a half or so. So, fast action. We got about 10 minutes or so here. Veteran TV news anchor off the air after repeating the phrase by rapper Snoop Dogg that included the slang for the N-word.
She said, "For shizzle, my nizzle."
That's right.
And I can say that, y'all, because I'm black. Period.
I've said it a ton of times because
as a black person, I don't find that offensive.
In the 90s with Snoop Dogg. When it was Snoop Dogg, not Snoop Lion or Snoop something or Snoop this.
Yeah.
It was Snoop Dogg. And we all ran around like we were Snoop's friend. Because that's how Snoop runs.
I don't think the woman should have lost the job.
Nah, this is stupid.
For sure.
The whole story is that she was talking about Snoop's wines. I'm sure he has one that's called Fo Shizzle and one that's called Manizzle. I'm going to fire myself now.
You don't have to fire yourself.
I'm firing myself. It's cool. Fired.
That to me, all she did is repeating something that she heard in a song.
I cancel myself. I'm no longer on the podcast.
Well,
there we go.
It ain't like you said the extra word. So
right. I honestly think he does have one that has that in it. So, whatever. Sorry, I'm axing something. All right. Decline. A Florida man living under... Oh, that's the Florida man living underwater. We did that one.
Yeah,
so
we
I
did
can kick
one.
that one. So, there is a thing, commodities in Chicago, off of the Chicago Stock Exchange. Onions are a commodity that you can no longer trade on the stock exchange of any kind.
Who was trading onions to begin with? Like
Lots
the
of
onions
people.
we eat?
It was a huge deal. Yeah, onions. Because they trade eggs, they trade all pork futures, they trade beef futures, they trade all kinds of stuff like that. You can buy you can buy gold futures, all kinds of different things of that nature. And so they were basically trading onions as a commodity and the futures of it, basically.
Interesting.
And so what they did was they bought all of the futures for a certain day, and then they, manipulated the price and sold them off at a certain level and made billions of dollars. And so now no longer can you trade onions.
I'm about to trade garlic.
Trade garlic futures.
Yeah. Or paprika.
All of those are still good, I think. You just got to get somebody else to buy them. That's what I've always said with stocks. you've got to find the other person that wants to buy that stock, and that's how you make money.
Mm-hmm.
In a dumb way. All right, so Kickstarter suspends illustrated novel defying transgenderism after project was fully funded.
What company?
Kickstarter. So Kickstarter, you've never heard of Kickstarter? It might be a white thing. No, I'm just joking.
I was like, oh, it could be.
Kickstarter basically is like the company, like if you have an idea and you've kind of started creating, it's like a poor man's, I just said it, Shark Tank. So basically you have an idea and you think, man, this is a really great idea, but I have zero money. So you go on and put this elaborate plan for how you're going to set up this deal, and then people come on and be like, "I'll give it $5. I'll give it $2," or they put, or say I've seen cameras and all kinds of things. Actually, the lined cameras that they put on that they have in NFL games now, that came off of Kickstarter. So basically, if you have an idea and you put elaborate plan together, you can sell the item ahead of time as part of the collateral. Like if you pay me $1,000, you get one of the products that we're gonna make. One of the Apple iWatch before it was the Apple iWatch, when there was no Apple iWatch there was a company that was putting together some watches, like smartwatches. The first smartwatches, they ran them through Kickstarter. Yeah. And so it was like $150. If you gave them $150, like within this amount of time, you got a watch with it.
Learn something new.
And if you did it, like then later it was like $250, and it was like this Bluetooth watch that had like no apps because it was the beginning of it. But it would hook to your phone and you could listen to music on it and stuff like that. So yeah, this guy basically he started a graphic novel defying transgenderism, and basically and its goal was to get $6,000, and the project hit the $6,000 way before the project end date, and which was May 31st, but Kickstarter shut it down because it violated the site's community rules.
Next topic. I'm not even about to go there.
It doesn't, like, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a, here it is. It's a privately owned company, so it can do what it wants.
Right.
But is it something that I believe in now, or that I would follow? Because I follow a lot of Kickstarters. There's a lot of board games that come out of Kickstarter. Because they're like the Cones of Dunshire from Parks and Rec. They're cool games that a certain amount of people will play, and that whatever the Milton Bradley and those won't pick up. So, chaos ensues after airline passenger forces open a plane door mid-flight.
Idiot.
Quote is, "I thought the plane was going to explode."
Idiot.
So a passenger aboard an Asiana airline flight from Jeju Island to South Korean city of Daegu was apparently in a rush to deplane, opening the door just minutes before land. Like, I mean, this is your people. A 33-year-old male.
That ain't my people.
How old are you?
31.
You don't have to say. But 33-year-old person, that's your generation.
He was born after me. So, no. No, wait, he was born before me. My bad, not after. So, no.
Yeah. So, yes, your generation of people. He's in the emergency row, reportedly forced open the door of an Airbus 321-200, which was carrying 194 souls, including 48 primary and middle school children, on their way to a sporting event. 700 feet off the ground. Like,
What did? I'm just curious. What was he? Was he gonna jump? And why would you open the door if you thought the plane was about to explode?
A spokesperson for the airline indicated that the feat would normally be impossible, owing to the difference of air pressure inside and outside of the cabin. However, because they were at 700 feet and only going 140 miles an hour, they were low enough altitude where it was only a slight difference in air pressure. And since the plane was descending, the flight attendants were reportedly buckled up and seated too far away to make swift intervention, so they couldn't catch him opening it.
So they were descending or ascending?
They were descending.
Okay.
Yeah, they were landing. Somebody took footage of the incident. Shows strapped down passengers holding on for dear life, with daylight and powerful gusts of flooding the cabin. Yeah, they just basically they're like holding on to their seats, seat belted in, and there's nothing you can do. Like, the pilot just has to land the plane. Like, that's the only safe way to do.
Yeah, he gotta get it on the ground.
Yeah. One of the passengers said, "I thought the plane was going to explode. It looked like the passengers next to the door were fainting." Yeah, because all of a sudden, I mean, think about it. You put your head outside a car window while you're driving.
Pressure.
Yeah, now you've got 140 miles an hour. No one's going 140 miles an hour, putting their head out the window.
Yeah. And if you are, something's not right.
Yeah. 12 people, all but one of whom were age 11.
So not only
there
are
were
you
no
facing
casualties, so
not only are you facing federal charges, you about to be placed on a no-fly list.
Right.
They may label you, depending on the investigation, as a terrorist.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he could be facing charges of violating aviation security laws.
Yeah.
And more.
And you ain't gonna be able to fly ever again in life.
You're going on the list.
For sure.
All right, Dollar General workers protest for better working conditions, scared for our safety.
I agree. I believe it too. Have you been into a Dollar General lately?
My wife has said for probably 15, 20 years that because of the way the sign looks, because of the way their logo is, it's aggressive, and that basically Dollar General is just pleading for you to come in and stab someone.
Interesting theory.
So, I have been in a Dollar General lately. I do not normally go into the hood Dollar Generals, but I have gone to some of the backwoods Dollar Generals, which are pretty terrible also. Like, it's a tiny store. Why can't you just get the stuff on the shelves?
So that's been the thing. Because recently, in the last few months, I've seen a few TikToks from Dollar General managers and employees. The reason why they're not able to stock is because, number one, of course, labor shortages. But then number two, I guess they have some type of law or rule within, or policy, I should say, within the company that they are only allowed to stock on certain days.
Okay.
So, and that makes sense.
On certain days?
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, that makes no sense.
Like, I mean, it does make sense.
What happens, like, some kid comes through and knocks all this stuff off? Well, it's Tuesday. I can't stock till Wednesday.
Well, I think about it in the sense of, like, when they used to drop CDs. Like, back in the day, how they couldn't do it. The store was not allowed to do it before Friday or still be fined. Yeah.
But if my milk is going out on July 3rd and it's July 2nd, you should be able to stock it.
You should, but if we don't have nobody covering your front end, which you notice now.
That is true. That's a smarter idea than the CD deal, because no one's dropping CDs no more.
Now they got the self-service POSs.
Yeah,
so that's, I guess, that was their solution to try to help with that. But at the end of the day, they're still struggling. Like,
I mean, Wendy's is going to the AI.
Well,
Wendy's is going to the AI.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
Yeah, there's two Wendy's in Columbus that are checking it out right now.
Chill, don't say we gotta stop supporting Wendy.
I mean, I don't know. I worked there 4 years. I gotta have that spicy chicken with cheese and bacon once in a while.
The only thing I care for Wendy's is that they do got some good chili. I will give them that.
They're now hot and fresh fries.
Barely.
It's been hot and fresh the last couple times. They're not bad. I used to have to get the fries and take them and throw them back in the fryer, and then take a cup of cheese from the potatoes and eat them like that.
Oh, I forgot about them baked potatoes. Them baked potatoes do be hitting though.
Yeah, except for if you talk to Jay Boots, make sure he gets a fork or a spoon for his chili, because he's been to a couple of them where he didn't get spoons, and we were on the road, and yeah, it was not a good day.
I may have to go get me some chili from Wendy's tomorrow. That sounds so good.
All right, teen arrested after eating town's prized swan.
Next topic.
And kidnapping its babies from protected pond.
He was bored.
Dude is going to jail in a soccer jersey.
I'm done. I can't.
A trio of teens in upstate New York devoured a town's beloved mother swan and stole its 4-week-old babies. I mean, I swear that I said this one, but it was not opened in my email box. So, I mean, like you said, he had to have been bored. Like,
had to be.
And he had to have been smoking pot.
Because never have I said,
Because the only time you'd ever think of, that looks tasty, is when you're...
Maybe I should try that.
Is when you're on when you gotta have something to eat.
And I'm definitely not gonna eat no swan.
Now when I had the food truck, we did have camel, and it was kind of funny because we were like 2 booths down from a petting zoo, and they had a camel.
Did y'all get the camel from him?
And so we were like, "You ever wanted to try? You ever looked at Sally and been like, that looks tasty." I wonder what that tastes like.
Yeah. Homeboy, he was bored and he's not too bright.
Oh man, some teens getting their swan on. Is that their swan song? They're getting out of town. Oh, all right, I'm done with that. All right, Italian angler catches pending world record Wells catfish over 9 foot long.
Did he fry it up and eat it afterwards?
No, he let it go. He let it go. This is a 9 foot catfish.
So do you know how much? Know how many nuggets that is?
This is like a catfish the size of my desk.
You know how many fillets that is? I would have got that grease hot and ready with that cornmeal.
McDonald's was there too. Fillet of fish.
Yeah.
Give me that fillet. Give me that fillet of fish.
Had them potatoes going.
Give me back my fillet. Give me my fillet of fish. Yeah, he said, I was alone facing the biggest fish I've seen in 23 years. Dude caught it on his own. Like, he had a tiny little boat, was out there just angling it, like, somewhere in France, and, or Italy, in the River Po, and caught a 9 foot fish.
Baby, I would have gutted that fish so good. And got that grease hot. You hear
got
me?
Got me some cornbread.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got that seasoning on there. Drop it in that hot grease.
That's right. Little Cajun seasoning on it.
We've been eating fish all week.
Yeah. He didn't even have big gear either. He was like running just regular catfish gear.
But I think, don't they say something like, depending on like the age of the fish, you really shouldn't. You should just throw it back.
Yeah, with catfish, certain age fish, it's gonna. They got a mud vein in them, and it's just going to affect all of the meat. Mm-hmm. So unless you got like a pool of buttermilk, and
I'm just saying, I would have
9 foot fish.
I would have.
The fillet has got to be at least 6 foot. The fillet is taller than me and you.
Listen, had he been right, he would have been in that grease that night.
Oh man, we would have had to get some Japanese guy with the samurai sword to fillet it.
Had
It's
he,
the only knife
we
knife
would
big enough.
have we would have came up with something.
All right. Popular gay bar drops Anheuser-Busch as top company execs makes refreshing admission. An important wake-up call. Basically, Bush, or Bud Light, not Bush, Bud Light got a wake-up call that if it wanted to be political, it was going to lose the election. It literally, they lost their top billing as the king of beers for the first time in 20 years.
Bud Light is the one in the blue box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bud Light is the blue.
I'm
box.
not a beer drinker, y'all.
Budweiser is red.
Red and white, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they own a ton of companies. Like Anheuser-Busch owns even Red Hook, which is one that we used to run around a lot. I've been to the brewery and stuff and seen how, and so but that's, companies are going to find out that whichever side they're on, if they can stay out of, if they go to one side or another, they're deciding to make their company divisive. And at one point, Budweiser was sold everywhere. Well, they found out what happens when you divide the country. You are now no longer sold everywhere. You're sold in half of it or half. Or you're sold in less than half and the majority of us. And that's the deal. And so now that they've done this, they're now getting boycotted by the LGBTQ plus whatever community. And so, they're basically going to have to fall on their sword. And honestly, if you are not part of that community, because they have repented of their sins, you should come back to them with open arms and just show other companies that here's what happens. If you go down the route of political doomsday, you're going to see the end. It's going to come crashing down because they lost almost 30% of market share. If any other beer company lost 30% of market share, they'd be gone. There would be no beer company. They just happen to be the largest, and they happen to have almost 50%. They lost $45 billion in 3 weeks. They lost all of the NBA in just 3 weeks. They lost all of the teams in the NBA valuation together. That's how much money they lost.
Well,
enough that they could have bought out every team.
And this was only because they hired a transgendered.
No, this is because one of their marketing gurus, woke marketing gurus, decided to put Dylan Mulvaney on the side of a can and throw it out there as look at us.
Interesting.
Yeah. Basically, they became a political entity.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done it either way. They could have said, "Oh, look at us. We put Trump on a can."
I mean, you're always going to piss somebody off.
Yeah, and that's it. So why, at the same point, had they just been making beer, the only people they're pissing off are not drunk Christians or something.
You've noticed that a lot of times, though, in this world, in this generation now, they got the whole DEI.
Yeah, DEI. We've talked about that.
I felt like somebody just made the call that they thought was going to be inclusive,
and that was part of the deal, is that they had been kind of on the fence of whether they were woke enough, whether they had they had a good enough DEI rating, and so they thought, well, this will help our DEI rating. Who gives a two rats rears about DEI rating if you lose 3/4 of your business and your company goes under? To me, that's obviously they let that person go that made the final decision, or if they didn't, they're retarded, and their business is probably already too far gone or too far woke to stay alive. But
yeah,
whatever. It just like we've given up good business sense. Like it used to be, you could say it's just business, and now it's become personal. And there's nothing business about personal. Like, it doesn't make any, like, you don't get anywhere when you divide the country with your company.
Yeah.
So now all of those investors, all of the people that you've been taking care of, all you've killed their living. On top of everything else. Like, that's the part that most people don't like think about when they get into this. So, all right, last one. It's not a Florida man, unfortunately. It is 21-year-old law student finds loophole and heads to the NBA draft in Brooklyn.
Shout out to the 21-year-old law student.
21-year-old law student.
Keep on shining, baby.
Dude hasn't ever played a organized basketball game, like middle school or high school or soccer or college. Has never played in any of those. Never a developmental league. He's not been in he's not been in McDonald's All-American. Nothing. But he basically
he defeated all the odds.
Yeah,
and found a different way.
That's what he said too. So he's been on TikTok. He's got like over 1 million views now. He's basically, he sent an email. The requirements were that you had to be a graduating senior from a prominent basketball school, and he was going to Florida, and he's a graduating senior. It doesn't say anything about that you have to play basketball. It's just, there's nothing else.
He just found a different loophole.
Yeah, he found a loophole.
Don't hate him because you ain't him.
He goes, I want to show people you can do anything if you just set your mind to it.
Period.
Like, he's not going to the NBA, obviously. He's not getting drafted. Unless somebody does it as a publicity stunt, like he gets the final pick of the draft or something, which would be kind of a cool little deal for him. Is if like somebody says, okay, let's throw this guy a bone, and they draft him. Final pick. I don't think the final pick gets any money or isn't even a guaranteed contract or anything like that. But you could name him Mr. Irrelevant, and that would be cool. But that's not going to happen. Somebody has to have that pick.
Shout out to him.
Just a shout out to Purdy from the 49ers for getting Mr. Irrelevant, and now is the starting quarterback for the 49ers. Yep. That happened. There's always an underdog story somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Lady D, what'd you learn?
That Hunt is over there creating and paying off somebody.
Sweetheart deal. I don't know what he's going to have to pay for it later.
We'll see. You
but
reap what you
sow.
sow.
He's having to pay it by getting a partner in the big house.
We'll see.
Make sure you're follow, liking, and sharing us. Make sure that you're getting on our new website, thewhyimangry.com. And make sure that you get some of that merch, or you send me an email with your articles and your news events on whyimangrypodcast@gmail.com. Remember to follow, like, and share the Why I'm Angry podcast across all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcasts. The Why I'm Angry podcast ends now.